Marc here, co-founder of Tracify, and today I want to speak with you about the top 5 mistakes I see in a lot of ad accounts on Meta. And today I want to speak with you about those top 5 mistakes and what you can do to avoid them. So the first mistake is a lot of advertisers optimize on 7-day click, 1-day view. So you can see in your attribution settings in Meta, your attribution that you selected, and the standard attribution is 7-day click, 1-day view. And most people do not question that. And there are 2 problems with that based on 7-day click, 1-day view. And the first problem is inflated conversion data. So if you say that you want to attribute Meta on view conversions, every ad that is displayed within a feed and someone buys after 24 hours is attributed to Meta. The person might not even notice the ad, but Meta will take full credit to it. And you can now understand also why this is the standard attribution, because it's the most optimistic attribution for Meta. So Meta has the best data, it looks the best, and people will obviously, if the data looks good, if the conversion, the ROI looks good, the advertisers will increase ad spend. So that's why the ad account is often inflated and you have way too much conversion data and you're overspending. This is the first thing. So problem 1 leads to massive overspending on ads that don't really add incremental value. And problem 2 is misleading allocation of the positive signals. The Meta algorithm works with positive signals. What does it mean? So if you have a conversion, it attributes 100% of that conversion to an ad. If you use, for example, 7-day click, 1-day view, a lot of signals will go to the view conversions that are not incremental. And what happens is that Facebook overvalues those ads that have only been seen or only been displayed, rather than valuing the ads that previously have been clicked on. So it's very, very important that you use only click attribution to also use the highest quality of conversions to feed your ad account. So the problem 2 is misleading allocation of the positive signals. So what should you do? You should let Meta optimize on 1-day click or 7-day click. So you can select this. You can only select this for new ad sets that you are building. So please select 1-day click or 7-day click, and use the Meta attribution only to feed high quality signals, click conversions to the algorithm. So for example, you are not actually judging the performance based on 1-day click or 7-day click, because for a lot of advertisers this is not the right attribution. It doesn't reflect the reality of the customer journey, for example. What you should be doing is you should use Tracify attribution to make decision based on the real customer journey. For example, you can use within Tracify then attribution window of 14 days and the attribution first click, or you use our AI attribution. But it's very important that the Meta attribution should be only seen as the optimization attribution for the algorithm, but the decision attribution should be within Tracify, because you have the real data. You can adjust your attribution settings really to your individual customer journey, and you don't have the problem that you are tending to overspend on low-hanging fruits, on inflated conversion data, on existing customers and so on. So do not optimize and make budget decisions based on 7-day click, 1-day view, especially the view conversions. The only time you would use 7-day click, 1-day view is when you have a very small ad account with a little budget and you need a lot of positive signals. So that's the only time when it makes sense to let Meta optimize on 7-day click, 1-day view, just to have more signals, because more signals is better than no signals. But every ad account that's like 20K plus per month should be using 7-day click as the attribution to optimize, let the algorithm optimize, and use Tracify attribution to really understand where the ad account, where the ad spend adds incremental value, and from there you should be allocating your budget. Next problem is overspend on retargeting or existing customers. So the problem here is that most brands spend too much money on retargeting or existing customers without knowing. And what Meta does here as well is they're pushing towards low-hanging fruits, because Meta calculates for every user within your audience a probability of conversion. And obviously Meta always advertises first to persons that are very soon to convert and have a high probability of conversion. And that makes sense generally, but the problem is that you don't want to focus too much with your ad spend on low-hanging fruits or existing customers, because often existing customers can be advertised by email marketing, which costs nothing, and a lot of marketing budget for existing customers is not efficient because they would have bought anyways. They know the brand already, they got an email reminder or something, and in reality we want to spend as little marketing budget as possible on returning customers because they bring the profit in. So indicators that you are spending too much money on retargeting or existing customers is high frequency in ads, very inflated view conversion. So if you're using 7-day click, 1-day view, and you can also within Meta click on in the column settings, click on compare attributions, and if you see that, for example, you have from 7-day click, 1-day view attribution window, you have 10 click attributions and 30 view attributions, you know already, okay, probably this is going to a lot of low-hanging fruits and existing customers. You don't have exclusions within your ad account. So for example, purchase 365 days, or for example, purchase 180 days through the Facebook Pixel, or for Advantage Plus, you're capping the percentage of spend that should be targeting existing customers. So probably 5% is what I do, 5 to 0%, but you have to limit this. Meta also has a tendency to model a lot of existing customer conversions. So if you send out an email and you're making a lot of revenue suddenly, Meta does not track it, but because they think, hey, we have tracking limitations, maybe some conversions are also from Meta and they're just like modeling something. And one thing as well is you only judge based on performance based on last click. So last click means the last click within the customer journey. And if you judge on last click, you probably overvalue the ads that are targeting retargeting or existing customers, the low-hanging fruits. So basically you should not be overvaluing last click and undervaluing first click. The result is non-incremental ad spend, so burnt money. So you're spending money and not adding any additional revenue. Also the decline of profitability, because this will cost you efficiency. And you probably make strategic mistakes because you judge performance and learnings and insights based on a blend of new and returning customers. And maybe you're missing insights of, okay, what really drives new customers. So what should you do? You should exclude all existing customers in your ad sets. As I said, judge the performance based on new customer ROAS with Tracify. I can show you in a second how you can do this. And then you scale the ad set that acquire customers profitably. And you should be downscaling the ads that are only placed in lower funnel. This will help you to maximize your top of funnel. And in the lower funnel, we want being efficient. So we need to balance here effectiveness and efficiency. And that's how you can do it. You scale your top of funnel with, for example, first click attribution and new customers, and you downscale probably the ads in the lower funnel because that's where the tendency is of overspending because of this entire last click bias, I would call it, and that's how you can add a lot of efficiency in your lower funnel. Experience tip: often standard image ads are placed in the bottom of funnel. So even though you are pushing, for example, top of funnel ads, but these are image ads and they have a high frequency or something, they're often placed in the bottom of funnel because of that last click bias of the ad account and the algorithm. And the conversions there are often not incremental, so that's something you should definitely have a look at. I can show you quickly how this looks like. So I have here our dummy dashboard. This is all dummy data. So you can now see here, for example, okay, we have a CPO of 22 euros and a customer acquisition cost of 36 euros. So for example, this is like all customers, this is new customers. You can select it here. You can now go, for example, in this campaign, we can look at the ROAS, and the ROAS is currently 2.39, but we can also change this to, we want only new users, and it's 1.87. And then we can judge, okay, where do we want to spend our next marketing budget or money to acquire new customers? And we see, for example, okay, this one acquires, or this ad here, or in Switzerland, acquires new customers more profitably. So this is the acquisition ROAS then. Very, very helpful to steer the ad account efficiently and effectiveness, and that's what it's all about. Third point, complex account structure. The problem here is that a complex account structure kills efficiency, and there's much more effort needed. So what should you do? You should simplify your account structure. And how can that look like? For example, one creative testing ad set budget optimization campaign, one scaling Advantage Plus campaign, 2-3 campaigns maximum. You could split that into products, but keep it as simple as possible. So not a lot of ad sets, not a lot of campaigns, really being efficient. You can also look up the Power of 5 of Meta. This is something they recommend, and this is something that makes sense to really make, for example, broad targeting, no like crazy audience settings, broad targeting, good creatives, that's the next point, and a simplified account structure with 2-3 campaigns. You need a creative testing ABO, in my opinion. You need a scaling, it could be a CBO Advantage Plus, and you can have a retargeting, but that's optional. So in the end, 2 to 3 campaigns, and then you can stack it up by country, for example, or by product or anything, but keep it as simple as possible. Next one is creative focus. So creative is by far the biggest leverage for the performance, and most brands are testing too little. So you need to test a lot of creatives, and you need to test a mix and variety of creatives. That's very important. So for example, video ads, UGC ads, founder ads, but also image ads, they work great for retargeting. So if you're not testing at least 10 to 20 creatives per week, you're not really optimizing Meta. So that's very important. And of course, you always need to understand and have then a closed feedback loop to understand, okay, what's working and how can we do more of what's working and less of what's not working. You can have a look at the creatives here and analyze them, for example, how are they performing, how is like the trend and everything. So that's very important for creative analysis, and we have already built the right dashboard for you here to make better creatives. And then fifth point, rely on meta conversion data. So meta conversion data, I brought it up here. This is an attribution problem, and this is here a tracking problem. Rely on cookies, and it's blocked by iOS 14.5. So very limited tracking capabilities. Only 7 days of attribution window. So like everything happens within 7 days. So, and that's a big problem because most customer journeys are way longer, and the meta meta conversion only looks at 7 days, and they only have last click or last touch. So what happens is they're really overvaluing like crazy the bottom of funnel. So you only look at the last 7 days of a customer journey and only value the last click, and that does not make sense in my opinion, especially for a push channel like Meta. And that's why what you should need the Tracify tracking toolkit that cannot be blocked by tracking limitations, has unlimited attribution windows and a manual attribution like first click, but also AI attribution to really understand, okay, which campaigns, ad set and creatives are really driving the value of my ad account. And if you would go into the ad account now, you would see here, okay, you have here these creatives and you see the real ROAS, and you could switch to the new users and you would directly see, okay, what's the acquisition ROI? And you can also change the settings here. You can say, okay, I want to have like 28 days and first click and reload it. And you would see, okay, this is what's performing currently without having any tracking limitations, having any problems in terms of attribution window that's not reflecting the customer journey, and not having any attribution setting or model issues because you're only seeing the last click. But you, of course, for Meta, the first click is maybe even more important than the last click. And with our AI attribution, we also balance this. So yeah, that's something I definitely recommend. And if you are doing one of those mistakes here, you have a lot of potential for low-hanging fruits to make your ad account more effective and more efficient. So if we can help you, book a free demo, get the tool, test it, and you will see in the first 30 days that by avoiding these mistakes, you will get more profitable and you will have a higher volume because you can scale more, and this will ultimately brings you more money in. So this is basically a no-brainer, and that's my offer for you. So looking forward to your demo booking, and see you there.